All right, so let's meet our next guest, comedian and actress Jessica Williams. She's appeared in the HBO show Girls. She co-hosts the podcast Two Dope Queens, which just launched and is one of the top shows on iTunes. Not that we look at the charts or anything, but it's her role as senior correspondent at The Daily Show that she's become America's favorite fake news reporter. Each week on the show, she aims her arsenal of quick wit, insightful humor, and righteous indignation at everything from politics and race to Beyonce.
And here is a clip, ladies and gentlemen, in which she tells host John Oliver that she wants to see the NYPD stop and frisk profiling policy expanded to include the stopping and frisking of Wall Street types who might possibly be white-collar criminals.
Got it?
John, I hate to say it because I don't live in their neighborhoods or experience the problems specific to their lives.
That's right, you don't. You don't.
But it is a hard fact that white-collar crime is disproportionately committed by people who fit a certain profile. So if you're, say, white, Upper East Side billionaire with ties to the financial community like Michael Bloomberg, you just got to accept getting roughed up by the police every once in a while. You know, for everyone's safety.
That's just ignorance. Jessica Williams, everyone.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jessica Williams.
This microphone.
Yeah, it's kind of cramped up on this stage.
Ride.
Love it. I love
I
this.
definitely don't want to touch the drinks.
It looks delicious.
They're
And kid-friendly.
Yeah.
It's like it should be in a sippy cup, actually.
Yeah, I love
Little
that.
handles.
Yes.
So that piece aired in 2013.
Yeah, I was looking at myself, I was like, oh wow, it's a baby girl. You know when you look at stuff and you can see your like workout cycle, like your exact yo-yo dieting thing? Like I was like, ooh, I was in the height of it, yes. I went to every bar class, yes.
Or was that when CrossFit was big a couple years ago?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, CrossFit has never left. You know, there's some CrossFitters right here in this audience right now. It's a big community.
Yeah? All right.
Get those gains.
That's right. They're coming to the early show so they can be home by 8:30.
Yeah. You guys have responsibilities.
exciting
I
life.
respect you.
So you said that piece was the first time you really knew what you were doing on The Daily Show.
Yeah, that was a big deal. That piece was a big deal to me because it was sort of the first time that I felt really connected to the piece that I was doing. When I first got hired at the show, I was 22, and I didn't really know like what my character's shtick was. So for a while, I would just go into Jon Stewart's office every now and then and just be like, hey, like, what's my deal? And he'd be like, what? And I'd be like, what's like my thing? And he was just like, you're 22, you're gonna figure it out. Just like, look for the things that make you feel emotions. And I was like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't know what all those Emmys
like
were
CrossFit?
for. Yeah, like, come on, dude. Oh, come on, Dad. Yeah, but that was sort of the stop and frisk policy that was enacted at the time. Was very frustrating, and I think John was away shooting Rosewater, so we had John Oliver hosting, and that was really sort of the first bit where I felt like, oh damn, like this might be my thing. Like this feels good.
Do you have like a lens where you're just like, I know that's not a Jessica Williams story?
Yeah, I do. Like I can't deal with like. I'm 26, so I can't deal with the economy or like money. Like I can't.
You just have never had
Like I
any.
just figured out my taxes like barely, and I figured it out. Like I finally called my mom to thank her
Yeah.
for helping me with my taxes.
That's off limits.
I'm just not ready for it.
Okay.
Do you
We'll look for it.
have a theory about why fake news and like satire, like the left really takes to that? We were joking about Air America earlier.
Yeah,
and how
yeah.
that didn't work. But it seems
Yes.
like a
The
certain
right
segment of
wing
the
has
population
talk radio.
turns to you
Well, I think
for
sort
their
of
politics.
the reason why I think on the left, it's always been that way. It's not, I think the Daily Show format that John sort of came up with it's sort of introduced satire in a new way. But I think, comedy has always been about those that feel a little bit more disenfranchised and slighted, trying to find a way through pain. It's why, like, sometimes I really like to dig into, like, a Fox News' Facebook page because it's really lit with like really angry people that don't get it, like they'll never get it. And so sometimes I will look at a posting and people are like saying just crazy shit, and then I'll just click on the person's page and I just dig into their life for a little bit. But the things that they have to post comedy-wise are like terrible. Like there's nothing, like the memes are bad.
Yeah.
You know, none of it is really coming from a frame of like a real frame of reference that actually seems like it's struggling in any sort of way.
okay.
It's just like Hillary Clinton's a goblin. Isn't that funny? And it's like, well, no, it's not. There
Yeah.
are funnier things.
Unless maybe you're somebody who is like, something that goblins eat.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah,
might
yeah,
be
totally.
afraid of a goblin.
Totally.
Maybe that's an opportunity for you. Maybe.
Maybe
Yeah,
I could
you
just
could
dig
just
into that. But I
jump
think
in
there
there.
are sort of like right-leaning comedians, and sometimes I like watch their videos to see what they're joking about, and it's like, again, like, oh no, there are funnier things.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Don't do this.
They have at the top on your Twitter account, you pinned a tweet that you wrote back in February 2015. You were speaking earlier about John. So it stuck to the very top of your Twitter profile page is what that means. And you wrote it right around the time some people were suggesting you be the next Daily Show host. And it says, quote, "I am a black woman and I am a feminist and I am so many things. I am truly honored people love my work, but I am not yours."
Yeah.
What did that message mean to you then and now?
I think, when John announced that he was retiring, a lot of people were kind of rushing to like try and say what his next replacement was. And I think I was coming from a place where it was like, wow, this person really means a lot to me. And my head wasn't even in like this, oh, what am I going to be like a host, or am I going to host the show? I think a lot of people were like, oh, we really want you to host the Daily Show. And that wasn't something that I wanted. And it wasn't something that anybody asked me. And I felt like with that, people were like, oh, you kick ass at your job. Thank you. You're black and you're a woman. You should want this thing. And I felt like you didn't ask me. And I felt like if I said you didn't ask me, then I felt people were sort of condescending to me and telling me that I should want it. And at first I was like, well, maybe I should want that. Maybe I should want that job. What's
Because
wrong
you're in
with
this
me?
rare position in a way.
Yeah, totally. And I was like, well, no, I don't have to. I go to therapy like 2 times a week and I love it. Highly recommend therapy. Hi, Heather, if you're watching.
She's our next guest.
Yeah, oh no.
Yeah.
That's so embarrassing. One time I ran into my therapist at an olive oil shop in Park Slope, and it was the
Whoa,
most
wait, stop.
devastating experience of my life.
Which part's
And-
embarrassing?
All of it. All of it.
Yeah.
It was like Sunday, like we
Yeah.
went to a butcher
And you said
shop,
the
my
right
boyfriend
has
and
nothing
I.
to make fun of.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
You just provided it.
writes itself.
Hey, just want to let you guys know, anybody on the Fox News page, if you guys post it, please don't make fun of this.
Yeah.
But it was embarrassing for multiple levels.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend was with me too, and I always talk about my boyfriend in therapy. Like, I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, my boyfriend, like, blah, blah, blah. And so we all knew each other, and I'm always telling Blaine, like, Blaine's my boyfriend. Like, therapy was great. Loved it. Blah blah blah. So everyone knew each other, and so in that moment, like my therapist didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
My boyfriend
Wait,
didn't
you
wanna be there.
introduced your boyfriend to your
I
therapist
did.
there?
Well, yeah, and then
How-
my
he didn't know
therapist
what she
was
looked
like,
like?
he didn't. No, and I was like, oh, this is. So my therapist Heather was like, hi, I'm Heather. Oh my gosh, I've heard so many wonderful things about you.
Wow.
Oh, Heather.
And she was like, I
Howdy.
mean, I have to, that my friend owns this olive oil shop. I'm dead. I have to go. And Blaine was like, it's so nice to meet you. And I was like, we need to exit this vicinity. We
Yeah.
didn't want to come in here in the first place. Like, Park Slope is too much for us. We're like 26. Like, it's too much.
Yes, I'm sorry.
We're not there. Maybe in 6 years we'll go to end our lives, but we're not there.
So far, Staten Island, Park Slope, we're honing in on making
I was
fun
with
of
him with the
Paris.
Staten Island thing.
All
I was
right.
like, when you
There you go.
apologize,
There you go.
I was like, the people need to know. Like, the people from Staten Island need to know.
Well,
they need to know.
I can't remember what the question was that we just asked you, but I do know that
But
we
no,
can.
to sum it up, I basically just wanted people to feel like I am a black woman, but there are so many black female comedians, and I love that you love my work, but I don't belong to you, and I will do whatever I feel I need to do in the moment. And I hope that you trust that I'm able to make the best possible decisions for myself.
Although we should say you are hosting a show now. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Though we might want to mention right now that you are hosting a show, a new podcast that just.
I
launched.
am, yeah. I just launched this new podcast last week with one of my best friends. She's an amazing stand-up comedian, Phoebe Robinson, and it's called Two Dope Queens.
Yes.
It's really fun. Both of us are black, and we both have white bays, or we like to date white guys, and so we like to talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
And
Tune in.
In graphic
tune
detail.
in. It's great. Oh yeah, in
Yeah.
graphic detail. Like our first episode, you were telling me you listened to. I think we were talking about.
Yes.
Queefs, and sometimes we talk about like just politics in general. So we're really all over the map.
Yeah.
Right, that's right.
From queefs
That's
to
your
politics.
WNYC
Every
dollar
like,
at work.
stately person here who I know is very wise, and there's just older people here in the audience too. I'm sorry I said that. However, it's not all we talk about. It's a great podcast.
It is. It's much more
Yes.
than that. And it
And
features
We are
comedians.
very smart people, but sometimes you got to talk about what's happening every day, and it happens to half the people in the room. And if we normalize the Q word, then maybe we can all be
Yeah.
more comfortable.
We were
in
like,
our skin.
Brendan and I were listening to
true.
this, and we're like, the next time anybody tells us we have to bleep anything on the show, we're going to be like, WNYC has this podcast.
Oh,
where
yeah.
about-
Yeah.
And our podcast is brought to
And-
you by WNYC, and it was really exciting because we're one of the first podcasts that they have in their podcast division, so we don't have to really
Yeah.
bleep anything.
Yeah.
So it was very exciting.
And they wouldn't let us call our show Two Dope Queens.
No,
Yeah.
oh
Like,
yeah.
They're like, no,
There's a real
people aren't
problem.
ready.
Yeah, they're not ready.
So
Well,
dinner
you
party
guys are not
download, I
Two
don't
Dope
even know what that
Queens.
means.
Yeah.
Stuck
you don't,
with it.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know us.
I'm scared we're running out of time, and I don't want to miss
Already?
out on
Are you
embarrassing
serious?
you like
Yeah.
we're at the olive oil shop.
Yeah, yeah.
Because one of the reasons you might, I don't know why you didn't want to be a host, but one of the reasons could have been you have an acting career outside of The Daily Show. And it started long before The Daily Show,
my
even though you were the
God.
youngest correspondent. And you were the star of a Nickelodeon comedy about a girls' soccer team
Here comes the title.
just for kicks.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Do you get it? It was like a play on words.
It's,
like-
it's pretty.
Yeah. And,
play
It's a public radio
and you
crowd
really
there.
did. You scrubbed the internet and hid everything, but we dug deep and we found a clip to embarrass you with.
Get out of here.
And in this clip, one of your teammates has just made a bad play, and your coach is not pleased.
How
with
did you get
Sorry,
this?
Hey, you're
First
Heather.
the olive
Heather.
oil thing, and then the queefs, and now this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Listen,
so sorry.
You got to plug your new show.
Oh
That's
my
right.
goodness.
Now endure this.
Our work is
Oh
done.
no, I hate you guys.
Officially useless!
Man, I hate losing, but I've never seen anything like that.
One more loss and he'll be naked.
One more loss and he'll be naked.
Oh, that's woo.
I sounded like the lady from the Popeyes chicken commercial. I'm from Los Angeles. At least my hair is consistent. At least I'm a consistent person.
Oh, yeah, you look great.
There's some
And I was
consistency.
always tall. You
Also-
could see.
I think the writing's a little better on the Daily Show.
Yeah, you've
Go
done.
there.
You come up in the world, but we
But
should
Whoopi
know.
Goldberg started she was a
Yeah,
critic that show.
she executive produced it, which is pretty crazy. And
And there was like a goal in mind for the show.
Sure.
oh yeah. So
Oh wait, I didn't
wait.
even realize
Wow.
I did that.
He didn't even realize
I didn't
it.
realize I did that.
this is a
Although
highbrow
your groans
audience.
are only going to feed the fire, you people.
If you could raise your own
No.
level on your own show,
Rico, I read your bad pun. Wait, was that
Yeah,
mine?
that's. I don't know.
I love that.
Thank you. Thanks.
But yeah, it was
You
supposed
want to go olive
to
oil
be.
shopping later? Or-
No, I never want to go back to that place ever again for the rest of my life.
It's all right, you don't
again,
have to.
until I give up and move to Park Slope. Whoopi Goldberg produced it, and I remember I ran into her like 2 months ago at an event. She is the most consistent person ever. Like she's still like glasses, a sweatshirt, and then like a beautiful shoe.
On her foot.
Yeah, she loves shoes. The
yeah.
woman loves shoes.
Yeah.
Even on Star Trek.
Yeah, I love shoes. Oh, they had some crazy shoes then.
Absolutely. She was amazing.
Yeah.
But it did. I mean, like the point of the show was kind of to show kind of people of all different classes and races getting together on one team. I think. was
Yeah,
sort of
in
the
New York
idea.
City. It took place in New York City, and it was
Park
supposed
Slope?
to be like Sex in the City, but for girls that want to play soccer. So every girl's different.
That seems terrible. That seems
They
like a
do.
terrible
Yeah.
idea.
It was
When we're
canceled
picking
after
scenes.
one season.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
But I remember when it got canceled, I was like 15, and I was like, I am never gonna act again. Like I cried. I was like, this is the end for me. Like if they don't love me like that, how will they love me? You know, how will I love myself? What a journey I've been on.
It's really true.
Because it always
right.
comes back to loving yourself.
Well,
Yes.
It's like RuPaul says, you know, how are you gonna love somebody if you can't love yourself?
You can't.
Great
not
show.
possible.
good question.
Great show.
All right, we have two standard questions that we ask all guests on our show. And the first one is, if we were to, I think I know the answer to this question. If we were to meet you at a dinner party, what question should we not ask you? Probably about that show.
If you can touch my hair, no.
Oh, interesting.
And also, what's another question I don't ever want you to ask me? If you could fart on me, that's a weird one.
That happens often at your dinner party. Don't talk about
you wouldn't
creeps anymore.
believe the people I run into in Staten
Yeah.
Island.
It's a lot of vegetarians in Park Slope.
Yeah. Let me see. What's one more that I actually really hate? Oh my gosh. I hate getting catcalled.
Okay.
So I hate you got a man, and it's it doesn't matter. I mean, never will this happen. Once I was walking down the street, and there was this tiny man, and it was just me and him, and I'm 6 foot tall, and he was walking towards me, and I was walking towards him, and then he was like, "Hey, what's up, girl?" And I was like, nothing. I'm walking on my commute, excuse me. And I was walking, and he yells after me, we passed each other, and he's like, "So let me get this straight. You probably only date tall dudes, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then all he did was point to himself, and he went, "So no?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "All right, baby, you stay blessed. See you later."
That's
And
nice.
then he floated into the beautiful world that he crawled out of, where every man is a delightful catcaller.
If catcalling was
Did that
like
almost
that.
make you want to respond? You're like, wait,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Look, maybe I
Self-aware?
can." Yeah, maybe, but no, because I will never date a tiny man. But also,
See,
I just can't do it, y'all. I
Poor
can't get
dudes.
around it.
even if
You're
they're
young.
delightful.
Yeah,
All
Second
right.
question.
We have another question.
love it. Go ahead.
Tell us something we don't know.
About me?
Yeah, I mean, we're learning a lot.
Or the world at large. Actually, it could be trivia about anything.
About the world. Oh man,
Queefing.
I've probably seen about 75% of all the Keeping Up with the Kardashian episodes. I have.
Interesting.
And I still keep up with it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I still do it.
Why that gap though? I mean, 100% of them have been made.
Sometimes it's a little bit #team too much, where Kylie Jenner has to make up a story, and you're I could see through this. Sometimes it's out of control.
Okay. All right.
But I love watching the journey. I love watching Caitlyn Jenner and observing Caitlyn Jenner from the perspective of knowing how things change in 7 years, and observing Caitlyn Jenner then, and seeing how Caitlyn Jenner functions in the household, and how it's oh wow, yeah, I can sort of see, what's going on here.
You're making
This
this sound like a
person has
valid
secret.
choice that you made to
What?
keep up.
What?
You're making this sound like a valid choice that you made to keep up with the Kardashians.
Oh no, I'm amazing. I think about them and how they affect society, because they are really what is it about? This is obviously a group of women who are making so much money. A lot of them are women of color. A lot of them they do interracial dating. What does seeing Kim Kardashian date? The joke is that they date black dudes. What does that mean? How does that affect society?
Yeah.
One of them was she dated a dude and then just refused to marry him and just had kids because she wanted to. So she made a choice that she didn't want to marry this dude. And then also you see one dealing with the marriage of somebody who's battling an addiction. And so you watch her go through this, the wedding episode. They had their own spinoff. Then you see him start to cancel and flake. You see her try and cover it up. You see all these things. You see one of them, her face changes, because technically, Kylie, she was born as a white person. Kris Jenner is a white person. And so you see her change to look more Armenian, like her older sisters, her half-sisters. It's crazy.
Why do we watch anything else?
I
I don't know, but what an interesting, and they've
Hear
been
that,
doing
public radio
it.
people?
They've been doing it for 8 years. So you're watching Kim Kardashian go from Paris Hilton's sidekick to this own massive entity. And then on top of it, she starts dating Kanye West, and you can see that he loves her, and he will not do the show. He won't really do it, but when he starts to get in season 8, you see him around every corner, and you see he's obsessed with her because she's his doll. But everything you see, he's like a goon. And so I rewatch it because it's so weird.
Yeah.
And I'll stop, but
No,
I
please.
love, it's fascinating.
Please.
It's fascinating. How crazy is that? And you see, I just watched the episode where Kanye proposes to her, and it's the most manufactured.
happens?
He calls Kris Jenner. First of all, she's already had North. Like, she's already had the most beautiful mixed race baby that is technically by society standards like a more beautiful baby than a black baby can be, than a white baby can be. Everybody wants a mixed race baby. This is why that baby is interesting. Also, that is a beautiful baby.
Okay.
However, she already has the baby. Kim already has a baby. She moves in with Kris Jenner. They make up this story that it's like, Kris is like, you take over my house. I don't want you in my house. And Kim's like, whatever. And then Kanye calls Kris Jenner from San Francisco because he's working on an album. And he's like, Kris, I need you to bring everybody and fly them all to San Francisco. Kris is like, I don't know what's going on, but I'll do it. Everybody, the whole family gets on a party bus. They go to San Francisco and they're in this arena. And then everybody's waiting. They're hiding in the dark of this stadium, which is insane.
Yeah.
There are like there's a whole orchestra. It's sitting in the dark in the middle of a football field. This has to be the Chargers football field. All of a sudden, Kim and Kanye come in, and fireworks shoot off. Sparklers are going off.
Yeah.
People are crying. An orchestra starts playing. Like, it looks stupid because they're in a stadium. And Kanye, like, Kim is trying to move her face, and you know she's had so much plastic surgery, so she's just doing, which is also interesting to see her face change.
Yeah.
And Kanye gets down on one knee, and again, Kanye will not really do the show, so you don't hear audio. It's just subtitles, and it's like, will you marry me? And then you just see Kim go like this, and then everybody's just crying.
Wow.
All right.
And it's insane. That is a show. That is an episode of the show.
Yep.
Wow. You convinced me.
That is something we
it's-
didn't know. That's
and-
definitely
and
something we
the
didn't know.
last
Everyone
thing.
outside of public radio knew that.
I know.
All of us in
no,
here.
everybody's like, we don't know what you're
anything
talking about,
that.
Jessica.
Like,
Go
whoa.
die. Go see your therapist. But it is interesting to see somebody who is massively hated and how they produce content.
All right. There we go.
Let's do it.
Jessica
Jessica Williams, ladies and gentlemen.